Hey guys, welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters in Gyeonggi. I'm Maynard, with me is Artosis, and we have got probably the sickest TvT you can ask for that doesn't have innovation in it.
Yeah.
And that is going to be ByuN, the world champion, against Maru, who used to be the best Terran in the world and is starting to look like he's getting towards that level again.
I guess so. He 2-0'd Solar, which is actually quite a surprise to me. Solar has really been on fire lately. You can tell he's been trying hard, and with the new patch, it felt like this was going to be a good time for Solar. But apparently Maru 2-0'd, and we were watching the other games, but I saw the result. I'm like, I'm sad to see Solar lose, but I'm happy to see Maru win.
Yeah, and ByuN obviously 2-0ing Ayasanu as well. Not a huge shock there,
Yeah.
but both of these players coming up against each other with a brand new patch. TvT probably the matchup that's changed the most in 3.8 of all the matchups. Like PvZ's changed a bit, but it's still pretty similar. Carriers are good now. It's pretty much the big introduction there. But no, like in all seriousness, TvT has been turned completely on its head. Taking back is gone. It's a lot more like the Heart of the Swarm, slow, positional, deep chess match, like real-time strategy chess match that TvT used to be a long time ago. It's back again, and what better players could we ask for? There's the man, the champion himself, ByuN, the BlizzCon 2016 champion, WCS champion.
He's fresh off of his victory at WCA as well. This guy just keeps winning tournament after tournament. He's playing those online cups. He was streaming a lot recently, but he's been traveling for the past little bit, so haven't seen him too much on there. But I mean, this guy is literally always a favorite to win tournaments now. He is just so unbelievably strong. Probably the hardest worker, or at least tied for the hardest worker that we've ever seen.
It's something I really believe in, is that hard work is what makes you better than other people. It's not natural ability. It's not whatever else. Like, I'm a mutant with 3 hands and I can play StarCraft faster than you. That doesn't actually matter if the guy with 2 hands plays 10,000 more games than you do. It does not matter. And he is the embodiment of hard work for me. And this kid, another kid that you really can talk about all day, this is Maru, previously on Jin Air Green Wings, in fact, still wearing the Gyeonggi. He was at one point the greatest Terran in the world back in 2015. It was really hard to look past him. He's had incredible finals in the Intel Extreme Masters. Actually, made it all the way to the final in Taipei. And then he kind of had a little bit of a slump for a little while, which players tend to do.
Yeah, 2016 was not totally kind to him. He just didn't win a lot of WCS points in the individual leagues, but he was the king of Pro League. Like, this guy was slaying nerds left and right, was such a big part of Jin Air's great season. So, he's still in great shape. We just haven't seen an individual league performance out of him like we expect out of him recently.
Yeah. It took him a couple qualifiers to get through this tournament, which is, normally I would say that's surprising, but as stacked as the qualifiers were, it's not really at all. Like, he was hitting some very, very tough eggs to crack.
The qualifiers looked like a GSL Code A or Code S or something. It was pretty wild, especially in the first 1 and 2. It's like, until you got like a good 4 to 8 of those players out of there, it was just unbelievably hard.
As StarCraft fans, I'm a StarCraft fan, you're a StarCraft fan, you're all StarCraft fans, I felt very spoiled over those qualifier days. Whereas 3 days of Code, like you said, Code A or Code S level brackets.
And they were not bad times for you and I, which is not something that we're always used to.
I mean, they started at like 7 or 8 p.m. or something like that our time.
Yeah,
so
it's like we get to sit down with dinner and watch, and that's like something we don't normally get to do. Things aren't normally in this time zone like that other than GSL.
Very pleasant, and I didn't argue one bit.
No.
So game 1's going to be on Habitation Station, actually. Obviously, with it being a mirror and all, map balance is thrown out the window, but is one of those maps that does have a bit of terrain to abuse, and it is a matchup that, like I said, it's completely changed on its head. It used to be all about Marine Siege Tank. Now Marine Siege Tank is kind of still there, but it's a lot different now. Mech is back. A lot has changed in this matchup.
Let's not forget the early game is pretty different as well. We can talk about that a little bit more as we get in, but it looks like the game is just about ready to go. So I want to get this started ASAP.
I'm devastated that we have to keep talking and not actually cast this game, because this game is probably the most excited I've been today. And like, we've had a long day already, but the energy, like a match that like this promises, is building me up again, man. I'm getting very, very excited.
All right, the game is starting. Yeah, this is one of those matches where it's like, I at the same time want it just put in my head like Neo in the Matrix would like just inject things into his head to learn, but also I want to experience it forever.
I know TvT. All right, in the top left of Habitation Station, the world champion, this is ByuN. And it's upright, the contender looking like he's back in form again. This is Maru.
All right. So back to how TvT has changed, because you're so right. Without the tank of Axe, it's so positional. But also the early game is actually quite different. Innovation is the best TvT player right now, as far as we can tell. He's got like about a 90% win rate and just doesn't lose matches. And he's been using a lot of Cyclone play. The Cyclones right now pretty darn strong.
Yeah, actually got a buff very recently, actually. Up to 6 range now.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, like how much damage they do, how quickly, if you push out with some of those early. So that can be strong. And let's not forget that the plus damage against armored, 20 damage against armored for landed Vikings, right? Or not armored, I'm sorry, mechanical for Vikings right now.
Yeah.
So that and mechanical guys is everything but bio units. So
yeah, landed Vikings are actually like,
you land on some siege tanks or something.
Good they are, yeah.
Oh god, they crush them. They clean them up. So there is the possibility that we see something like a Cyclone Rush to open, and there is the possibility that we see a big tank Viking follow-up for either of these players.
It is very likely going to be a fast tech here, because as we can see, both players taking both their gases very, very quickly. I mean, most of the time in TvT, you will see gas first, but this is, you know, we see differences in the builds now, with Maru going for a Reaper while ByuN goes for a Marine, but both players definitely trying to get very quick factories and star poets up.
You know, I'm not surprised, because the map especially, you know, it's just the air distance between is so short, it almost feels like you need to tech here. If you try to take a fast expansion, your opponent is going for a little bit of mobility, a little bit of aggression, it's going to be tough to stop them.
Yeah, and paying attention to these add-ons is important as well, guys, because Tech Lab might mean something different than Cyclones, but if there's a reactor on a barracks and he's getting really, really quick double gas, you know, you can reactor out Cyclones and be very weird.
Oh, geez.
It's something I've seen before. It's very, very scary.
I, as a Protoss, have also seen this before, and I can confirm, in fact, that it is very scary for any race that it is up against. Now, Starport's going up for both sides. A Cyclone coming here for Maru. Did he make 1 Reaper or 2 Reapers? I was not actually fully paying attention.
No, he's making a second one now. So the first one has come to the main here of ByuN. Bit of touch-up damage with the Hellion out, though. That Reaper is dead? Question mark? Yeah, it's dead.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right. Oh, that's really too bad, because if you said he did make the second one, right?
Yeah, he's got a second Reaper.
Yeah, the 2 Reaper, 1 Cyclone push is actually Innovation's opening build in TvT that has led him to ridiculous success. Like, I've seen him kill nerds with just those 3 units, so not surprised that he went for something like this, but to lose that Reaper is pretty rough.
ByuN going with a bit more of a regular TvT opener from previous patches, actually, going for a Cloaked Banshee, getting Marines, then getting the Cyclone. And normally you'd get this Cyclone back in the day to stop things like an opponent's Banshee. But the anti-air ability of the Cyclone is actually meme-level hilarious. It amazes me that it's still in the game, because it just doesn't seem like it should exist.
It really looks now like the Cyclone is simply flying a kite for fun. Right?
With the string.
Like,
on string.
It's not... I mean, if you micro it right, it's like not going to get hit by it, so it stays alive, but like the flying unit doesn't really care, just like the kite doesn't care that you're flying it.
No, it doesn't, because
it's
an inanimate object. It doesn't have a soul. But we do have 1 Banshee coming in here. It will have Cloak very shortly, but we have a Raven on the way here for Maru. And Raven is an incredible unit in TvT right now. Its turret's a lot better. And also the fact it can detect cloak units, and it can be very annoying in counter harassment as well, with those turrets being a little bit stronger.
I gotta say, I really like how Maru's approaching this. He's doing a good job of repairing some of this. In fact, takes down that first Banshee, loses 4 SCVs, which is, I mean, that's a pretty steep amount of SCVs.
Yeah, that's a lot. But I mean, it's not critical. He's not he's not actually scrambling to recover from that. He just took it's a bit of damage. It's a little bit of a knock to the face, but it's not a heavy one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Cloaked Banshee. You're expecting to lose some amount of SCVs doing that, but that does give him a Viking lead, which can be very powerful right now in TvT, like we were talking about before.
Yeah, well, the siege tank is a lot better now, guys. It can't be picked up in a medevac anymore, but Blizzard have made that a non-issue by the fact that it can just be so much stronger. It does insane damage to ground. And its splash damage is insane as well. So here's the tanks are on the way for ByuN, and you know, like Artosis touched on, if you got the Viking advantage, that becomes very, very, very important. And with the positional battles at siege tanks and Marines, if you do go for the siege tank composition, it grants you that extra range. Yeah,
just like siege tank Viking right now is going to, at minimum, make you very safe, and at maximum possibly give you a strong push coming in, especially if you can snipe some of your opponent's air units. ByuN, in the meantime, making a few more Marines, kind of staying with his own unique style.
Yeah, he's got a lot more Marines than Maru, actually, 10 to 2. Maru actually, preferred to go for the Cyclone and going straight into Viking production, 2 at a time. So he's very, very much prioritizing getting the air army up. But that means that ByuN's ground army is going to be a lot stronger.
Yeah, it definitely will be. Like, he will have map control when he actually gets out on that map, right? Because he does have so much. But, for instance, if we see Maru fly over here and win an air battle...
Yeah, which he will, by the way.
Yeah, like, he's got to land right away. But even losing just the Raven, that's a really big deal.
Oh, Raven leading the charge there, taking a bit of damage. But the real story is ByuN's going to lose his Vikings and possibly his Raven here. He can put out a point defense drone, but... that's only sort of delaying the inevitable here. The auto turret's going down, actually. It's an auto turret battle. Oh! And ByuN's units coming back in the main actually deflect this completely. That could have been a lot more devastating. Banshee across the field here, doing some SCV damage, is getting a couple.
Wow.
No anti-air here until the Viking appears. Will he get out of scan range? Decides to stick around.
Yeah, this sneaking of the Banshee I actually really, really like. Getting 6 additional kills
great.
right there. Yeah, when your opponent has complete air control, trading a Banshee at that point for 6 SCVs I think is quite fantastic. And you see a 9 SCV lead for ByuN, so he definitely has that economic advantage.
Absolutely, can't argue with that. Stim on the way here for Maru. Stim just started now for ByuN. And, even when you have a superior Marine count, if you don't have Stim, they're really not very useful at all. They're not going to chase down Vikings. They're not going to concave on some siege tanks or anything like that. They're going to stay the hell back and wait until they're useful.
Did you say Hellbat?
Hellback.
Oh, okay.
Nearly.
I was like, where? I don't see any Hellbats. You're lying.
I just messing with me, guys.
Oh, Maney Banani, I love you.
What? Maney Banani.
Maney Banani.
All right. I guess that's who I am now.
That's my pet name for you right there.
Okay, that's
Your fiancée is welcome to use it if she likes.
Yeah, sure.
But it can never be solely hers.
I'll let her know.
All right.
All right.
Well, I mean, this is ByuN versus Maru. I'm sure she's watching, okay?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If you have eyes that are connected to your brain, and you're watching this game right now.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I'd hope so.
All right, a little bit of flying around with the Vikings right now from Maru. He's coming up, but ByuN has a very solid amount of Vikings and a lot of damage ones from Maru. Ooh, he is going to lose that, though.
Yeah, he actually had to eat a couple volleys there from Maru's Vikings. With his Marines helping out, he will win this battle.
Does get to push everything back here. Might even get another volley there. Ooh, doesn't quite get it. Very strong micro on both sides.
Yeah,
and
but this is actually getting me, those nerd chills you keep talking about? I'm
starting
to feel it a little bit for this series already in this game number 1, how closely these guys are matched.
They are making it cold in here.
They are.
And hot in here at the same time. It's funny how you can use 2 opposite things to talk about the same thing.
That's right. Well, you get chills on the outside and you heat up on the inside.
Ooh, that's true. That's why you get chills.
It's like when you get a fever, but it's like it's like StarCraft fever.
I got StarCraft fever for sure.
No, I know you do. You've had it for a decade and a bit now.
It's terminal, my friend.
It's terminal.
Okay, so the macro really kind of kicking in, both sides getting their double upgrades for their Marines. So it is going to turn into exactly, you know what, you and I are great. We are geniuses to have, we basically talked about everything. We're like, okay, there's this cool build, Maru uses it. We're like, the Vikings and tanks are very good in the early game. They both go for that. We talk about air battles. They go for those. And now it's going into that positional play with Marines and, of course, this heavy siege tanks.
And this is the strategy game that TvT was always meant to be, man, and it's happening right now. It's so good.
I take the checklist I have on the table of all the different things that happen in TvTs right now. I have all the boxes checked. I fold it, tri-fold, put it in an envelope, lick it, and leave the cast. I'm like, all right, Maynard, I will see you later, buddy.
Yeah,
we did it.
You did your job, dude. Collect your check on the way out. Enjoy your train trip back home.
Yeah.
But I mean, the only thing we're kind of missing here is that TvT has kind of presented the Doom Drop back again. Like Doom Drop has definitely been happening a lot more in TvT and regular games, or certainly on my ladder games. But has been in the higher end of Korean MMR as well, as I've heard. Whispers from the dark side of the ladder.
Yeah. By the way, this is kind of interesting because we always think of ByuN as the micro guy nowadays, but really Maru was kind of the original version of that. But he's actually the one that's going, ByuN that is, going for the quicker second factory.
Yeah, he is. So obviously double tank production, going to be able to get up those all-important units. It's the strongest Terran unit right now for the ground. and he's doing a lot of damage here. And this is where the air superiority comes in so strong. See, Maru has to pull back here. There is a Viking from ByuN on the north there. He had a drop that he was going to look for in the main, but ByuN, when we saw his main earlier, had a lot of turrets. I'm sure there are more up now. So he knows that Doom drops are extremely scary in this matchup, but so he's making himself safe for it. Little bit of back and forth here. In fact, Maru getting some great volleys off on the Marine count of ByuN there.
Oh, very dangerous for Maru, actually losing quite a few siege tanks at the moment. Great spotting by ByuN's 2 Vikings right there.
That Cyclone lock on. I think he did like -1 hit points damage to the
healed
Viking.
it.
Yeah, he healed
That's
the
like
Viking.
it's a really good trick if you want to heal your own units.
That's what I used to say about the Ultralisk pre-patch. Marines would actually just heal their hit points.
They're basically just medics for it.
But all jokes aside, we do see a very healthy Marine count here for ByuN versus Maru. 47 and 35. Upper tank as well. His upgrades actually starting to look like they're a little bit ahead of Maru's as well. So ByuN looking like he's ahead in almost every single way. In fact, he is, I'd say. His worker count's lovely. His army count's higher.
He is doing... I think you're 90% right. Like, it seems like he's ahead.
Well, that's as right as I've
always
ever been in my life, so...
Well, I mean... I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, no,
you're 100% right about how this game would look. It's still a positional game, though, like you were talking about before. And Maru has, like... I would say a slight positional advantage, right? He's the one controlling the map at the moment. Thing is, that can turn around very quickly here.
Yeah, I mean, these new siege tanks can make a Marine advantage evaporate for sure. And a lot of Marines of ByuN did go down there. In fact, the army supply advantage going into Maru's favor now as he starts to get a nicer position here. Another free volley there on the Marines. And ByuN at this stage, forced to use scans to make his tanks a little bit more effective. He just doesn't have that many Vikings left.
Yeah, still trying to make a few, but in fact, Maru instead is going for Liberators, which is kind of interesting. This could mean that he really wants to push forward very strongly.
Yeah, it could, and also Liberator is another unit that is just fantastic for harassment as well. Like, its anti-air is almost non-existent. It's up there with Cyclone lock-on, but its anti-ground is fantastic, and it's an excellent worker line evaporating unit.
It definitely is that.
Oh, I love this.
ByuN going for the double drop down near Maru's hopeful 4th base, which will not make it to fruition. Does get canceled immediately there by ByuN. Ooh, kind of a weak move there by ByuN, taking a lot of damage, but
there's a nice
up
one.
into the 3rd.
Yeah, going up the CC, and if he targets that, it's in danger here. The Liberator could easily be taken out, and it does. Maru coming down with his own units, following the SCVs as well. Where are the Marines of Maru? They are here with the tank as well. And ByuN will need to leave. Looks like the CC will be saved. Will live for now. Yeah,
it took a lot of damage there, though. And the siege tank moving up, actually. He's got to repair that thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Maru's actually microing this battle. But he's definitely paying attention to this very, very important and expensive army at the front here, which I don't blame him. But ByuN's dropship is still alive. Maru coming up the right-hand side here, getting a siege tank. A reinforcement from ByuN from the north, though, does clean out the Marines of Maru, and he will push this back.
Wow, Maru playing so aggressively here. You know, I almost forgot what Maru was all about because we've been so much about ByuN for the last 6 months or so. But this guy trying to break these positions, unfortunately, falling behind on the supply once again.
I think he's medevacs are in a lot of danger there. I think he actually got more than just one. It wasn't just on camera. But I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah, so you got a bunch of medevacs there. ByuN, lovely position. He's actually managed to break off this sort of weird contain that Maru had. And he's starting to press the issue here and move across the map. Catching Maru unsieged here with a ton of Marines. Just sieging up those last tanks in the back. 3 tanks of ByuN coming up from the back end here. They're actually going to split the attention of these tanks and take them out.
Oh, a great flank from the top with 3 tanks as well. Taking out about 3 tanks on their own.
Yeah.
Some Vikings coming to the fray as well. But ByuN continues to just do a magnificent job.
He's got 11 tanks to the 4 tanks of Maru, Atosis, and that's huge. The tank is so important in this matchup.
It really is.
The Liberator, though, can change the deal if there's not that many Marines, which there aren't, actually. A lot of ByuN's Marines are just rallying to reinforce this tank line, actually. They're not here. They're on their way now.
I think we might be seeing a misclick here from Maru. Why would he be making a Cyclone right there? Kind of weird. Really needs those siege tanks to come up like you're talking about.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't see a reason to make a Cyclone here at all. They do have semi-okay hit points, and their attack speed's pretty good, but you definitely want to be having siege tanks now. That's so annoying when you're a Terran and you're playing a TvT and the other tank lives with 1 hit point and your tank dies.
That is just the absolute worst.
Tilt incarnate.
Absolutely. Like, this is why you need those Vikings in there so you get the first shot off. But Unfortunately, Maru a little bit out of position
ByuN's
there.
actually starting to take control of this game, man. He's looking real good. Maru coming up from the north, taking out these tanks, gets that watchtower, which is really important.
Yeah, well, the watchtower does get blown up here by these siege tanks, and ByuN continues to hold this center area. That watchtower is very powerful to give him vision.
This is the watchtower directly in the middle of the rush between both opponents' mains, so very, very important. And this drop play from ByuN actually got him back into this game, so it's good to see a little hit force again coming back. This Liberator, if the air gets taken away from Maru and can use a Liberator to take out these siege tanks, does get one, but trading a Liberator for one siege tank, not the super greatest trade. These Marines are actually going to get a lot of work done. Maru not reacting just yet. Oh, we still have dropships here.
Wow, a lot of damage going down to... Well, it could have been going down to this mirror line. It looks like he just might have used the all-army hotkey there.
Yeah,
I think so. I think
so, yeah.
That was such a weird move. But ByuN, you know, I feel like that cancel that he got on the 4th, what a crucial thing that is now looking at this game.
Well, his has been up for so long.
Yeah.
Like it's planetary just down there in the south.
Maru is just behind economically. And while he still has a strong army, he's not going to be able to refill it anywhere near as easily as ByuN.
Now, this could be a move from Maru. If this works out, Maru is definitely going to be looking like things switch the scale into his favor here. If he gets this 4th without losing too much, ByuN's going to be on the back foot again.
Okay, he's moving forward right now. ByuN trying to get into some sort of position. The Marines stem forward, taking out one of the siege tanks, but taking a lot of damage as well.
Yeah, these tanks to the north there were very late to the party. Does lose these siege tanks in the high ground, which means Maru can take the high ground away from ByuN, which is obviously not very good for the low ground Terran. He's going to force an engagement up here. The Cyclone actually helping a little bit against these Marines here.
It does get taken out, and the Vikings going to push back this Liberator for the time being. Too many siege tanks, though, from ByuN there on the low ground.
Oh, God,
it's just impossible to break with Marines.
Look at this matchup, man. Look how beautiful this matchup is.
Truly.
Ball of Marines here from Maru, shooing away those Vikings, being very annoying here. Oh, tank's getting sieged up, and he's actually going to take a couple volleys there. If the high ground goes to ByuN, Maru pretty much has to leave. He's not going to be able to break that position.
Dude, I tell you, with the Tankovac change, the way that TvT is more positional than right now.
Yes.
And right is literally a position.
I wasn't ready for that. Oh my god. No wonder you get the big bucks out there.
Oh, that's it.
There's a reason this guy's been around for so long, guys.
It's because I'm old.
It's because you're in your 30s and you still play video
games. They literally
can't
get rid of me. I live in this country. I was going to come down here no matter what, buddy.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, man.
But, all right, so taking a look at this, the main command center flying out for Maru. He finally does have a 4th base mining, so still keeping himself in this game. But ByuN, he's been better with like small harassments, whereas Maru has only been trying to make big plays, and that keeps hurting his economy.
Oh. If the tanks of ByuN get picked off here, and they will, Maru actually could have the firepower to break this position here. That's only 2 tanks on the high ground here for ByuN. Maru has double that on the ground here.
Trading out a lot of Marines there.
The CC's going to die!
Oh my god, he cannot let that die. In fact, ByuN might have screwed that up a little bit. Great drops here, though, by ByuN onto the siege tanks, picking off a couple. And he lost the CC.
Yeah, it burned down, man. There was no SCV or Mule there to repair it. And that's a big pickoff. That's actually, I think, the only CC left for Maru is the one at the 3rd.
Yeah, he's floating his natural to the gold, I think, right now. I think I see that on the mini-map.
Yeah, okay, I see.
My eyes are getting blurry. We've been here a long time. We've been up since 4.
And we're old, which we established earlier as well.
Yeah, that's true. We need glasses, but we got to look young on TV.
That's right. And we can't afford contacts, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the gold gets taken here from Maru. Unfortunate timing on those SCVs there. ByuN still with the high ground and a reinforcement of tanks and Marines.
Repositioning by Maru here, making sure he's not going to be hit. ByuN does have that air advantage still, but this is still a powerful force from Maru. If he makes the right moves, he can still win this game.
A huge mistake from either player could spell the end, for sure. Tanks going up here for ByuN. He does have the Viking advantage here. It's only 2 Vikings, but that's 2 more than Maru.
Yeah, watching those Liberators hit the Vikings, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's... Like I said, it's like a Cyclone's lock-on. Marines coming a little bit further here. They just stem just out of siege tank range. Oh, I feel like ByuN might be setting up for a flank here. Ball of Marines, 3 siege tanks on the top. Maru hasn't seen it either. He's going to take some volleys there.
Kills some of those Marines, but Maru loses a lot too. Maru's army is actually getting too small in comparison. This is something that can just be busted.
He's going to get caught on siege here. The concave of ByuN crushes Maru's army and pushes him all the way back to the tower here. And all of a sudden, Maru is in dire straits. He's 60 supply army down. He lost all of his army here. That's it for Maru on the right of your screen right now, guys.
Oh, man. He has almost nothing left. Half the army supply of his opponent here. ByuN running in. The Liberator's going to do absolutely nothing against these Marines.
And that's going to be that.
GG.
ByuN with a beautiful game one there. And what a game one for the series, Artosis.
Yeah, that was a really good game. I loved how Maru showed that, hey, I'm going to be even more aggressive than you are, ByuN. And the thing is, ByuN saw what was going on, the style that Maru wanted to use. He got the second factory. He played the defense. He played the cost-efficient game and just got out harassment when he could. Awesome. He really knew his role in this game. If he had tried to be aggressive against Maru, especially after adding the second factory, he would have fallen apart. Maru was just so mobile.
Oh, such a lovely game here, and that has got me so excited for the series, guys. If you want to show your friends how beautiful StarCraft can be, and they don't really watch it, maybe they're a CSGO player, maybe they're a LoL player, I don't hold it against them. That's okay. People make mistakes. If they want to come here and watch StarCraft, I think it's about time you show them Twitch TV/ESL_SE2 and get on in here to watch IEM Gyeonggi, this TvT matchup between these incredible gods of this entire race in the game.
I tell you, it's really exciting as well to see Maru playing this well.
Yeah.
He is, I definitely underestimated him coming into this tournament. I just looking at how he's done in the recent past, and as you said, the IEM qualifiers, he had a hard time. I was like, I don't know if he's going to make it. Solar's kind of on a hot streak right now, but damn, he really put up a sick fight against ByuN, who, ByuN doesn't really lose TvTs. TY, and Innovation are so good at TvT, they never lose to anybody. And Maru had him on the edge a lot of times.
And the most incredible thing is that most of those people are here as well in this tournament. Maru, ByuN, Innovation, all here. Unfortunately, TY not making it, but
yeah, just barely so.
Wow.
What can we do? It looks like game number 2 is starting, though, Maynard.
Oh, boy. Let's do it, guys. In the bottom left here, currently 1 game up here. This is ByuN! And game 1 was ByuNbelievable. In the top right here, getting form back. Can he tie it up? This is Maru.
And game number 1 was Maru-matical.
Maruficent. Oh, man. I obviously want a third game here, so I'm going to be rooting for Maru in this game.
Yes,
as much as I love ByuN. I want as many games as possible because the more StarCraft, the better.
Yeah,
that's my thought process on that.
Yeah, that's generally where I'm at. I will consume every game of top-level StarCraft. I will. It will occur, so give me as many as you want. I want to feel the pain. I want to feel the burn in my eyes and the pain in my back from sitting in a chair too long. This is what I want.
Well, you know what? Your wish is being granted right here in real time.
It truly is.
At the OGN studios. And once again, same builds as the last game, and this is really quite common in TvT. It's so versatile to go gas first. You can react, you can set the pace, you can do pretty much anything you want.
Yeah, and I wonder if we'll see similar builds to last game. I really like the fact that Maru has copied Innovation's build. He was not as crisp with it as Innovation, but again, it's Innovation's build, so you don't expect him to do it perfectly compared to Innovation. But still, there's a lot of power with that early Cyclone, with a couple of early Reapers.
I can't believe that Innovation's win rate is 90% in this matchup. Do you know how insane that is, guys, for you guys watching at home to be at the highest level?
Not over the entire course of his career, but recently.
Yeah, but that matters even more.
Yeah, no, exactly, right? It's guess what? When he started, he lost all his games when he was in Bronze, and it's okay. But we're not going to count those, right? Because that doesn't make sense, right? And 2013 games don't make sense, right? But yeah, recently he's completely unstoppable. The thing is, if someone can stop him in this tournament in TvT, it's obviously ByuN.
Obviously. The showing of ByuN in this matchup already shows me that he's certainly up there, if not Innovation level. And Maru is not very far behind at all. There's a very, very close game up until that one move from ByuN.
Well, canceling that command center was really a fantastic play. When you're playing that defensively, to sneak out a couple medevacs and get critical damage done, that's a lot of times a game sealer, but Maru fought on really, really gallantly.
He did.
So both players doing that build, though.
Yeah, so about to say exactly what you said then. Reaper opening into Cyclone. The slight differences is that there's a reactor going down for ByuN, whereas a Tech Lab's going down for Maru.
Ooh, one of the Maru Reapers actually gets picked off.
That's really weird to see Maru lose a Reaper ever, to be honest. He's such a strong micro player,
I know, right?
Has been in the past.
That's the second game in a row that he kind of overextended with his Reaper. I don't even think it's really that much a micro problem, but it's like, just what are you exactly doing here? Ooh, look at this dancing.
Yeah, both players with extremely low Reapers that do go down, and ByuN's Cyclone's going to lose this battle.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, it's a funny little battle there. We do have to cast it, though, because that's our job.
Yeah, well, just looking at that, like, that's where I swear at my monitor, I think, right there, right? It's like,
yeah,
you got the first shot on something that shoots 1,000 times a second, like.
Yep, that's the new Cyclone, guys.
Yeah, it actually, does it attack faster than a Zergling with Adrenal upgrades?
I think it does, actually. I've actually watched Cyclones win against bowls of Zerglings.
That's crazy.
It is crazy, but this is the world we live in.
Yeah.
You have to deal with it. You have to look in the mirror, take a good hard look at yourself, and think about who you are.
Putting water in my face, I'm like, what just happened to me is real.
Yeah.
Cyclones do that now.
Yeah, that's right. So we got Cloak on the way here for ByuN. Not getting a. He does have the one Banshee. He's going straight into Raven, so he's not going double Banshee or anything like that. Raven is such an important unit in this matchup. I mean, if you ask Nathanius, it's the only unit. But
I thought the battle cruiser.
Oh yeah.
2 units.
Two units. Yeah. It's worth more minerals than a command center. That's more than a carrier.
You realize what you've done.
If you realize what you've done when you lose that battle cruiser, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
But yeah. So again, Maru. This is just like the last game. Going into double Viking production, prioritizing that Air Force, and no doubt going to be bowling up those Vikings with that Raven to try and get the air away from ByuN and just take a great engagement. And he already is sending those units across the map.
Yeah, this makes a lot of sense to see this. Like, just the way that I think about TvT and look at it, this type of play specifically, really, it makes sense, right? Like, you're defending very well, but the Vikings have potential to do damage. Like, if your opponent makes a mistake, you might be able to land these somewhere and really wreak havoc.
Yeah.
So that's really cool to see. And also, this style, even though I keep talking about innovation and how he's doing this a lot in TvT right now, Maru, even before all this, like, he did a lot of reactor Vikings early on in TvT games. Like, he does love to win that air war before getting in his macro.
Very early engineering bait here from Maru. Looks like he wants to go for a lot stronger bio, or at least take the bio advantage in the early game. But ByuN prioritizing unit count by getting an extra couple barracks down. So it's really just looking like the last game here, where ByuN's going to prioritize marine production for a little bit here, and Maru's going to prioritize just having a stronger air army, like going Sky Terran for the most part into siege tanks.
Well, I think neither of these guys is likely to die anytime soon. Stim starting at the same time. And that's a good thing, right? Because we get to go into a macro game again, most likely?
Hell yeah. It's my favorite.
All right.
And this Banshee somehow has been escaping this Raven Viking Sensinet that Maru's had gone on here. Oh, 2 siege tanks and 8 marines. Well, that Cyclone's super dead, but a lot of ByuN's army is actually in trouble as well.
A lot of damage being dealt. Oh my god, didn't it have a siege tank inside
it? It did, yes. No, that's a dead siege tank. Dead medevac as well. And another siege tank being chased down. These marines don't have stim yet, but they are on the chase here. And this Banshee actually being controlled right into a turret. ByuN making some very uncharacteristic mistakes here.
Wow, Maru playing fantastic. And this is that moment that we were talking about. If your opponent messes up at all, yeah, GG.
That's it.
Realizing that he was in a lot of trouble with those Vikings up there. If you make a mistake in that early game and your opponent went for the Vikings, which a lot of times you consider more of a defensive unit, Maru could have gone over there and landed. That's why ByuN left that game. Like, he was not going to be able to hold on.
I mean, like we touched on it in Game 1, if you're just tuning in and you missed it, Vikings do extra damage to mechanical units now. And not only did Maru have the huge Viking count that he had, he also, well, I mean, huge relative to that time of the game, he also had like 3 siege tanks against the 1 of ByuN. And ByuN just like, sure, it's a bit of an anticlimactic finish, but ByuN's like, look, Maru's going to set up this contain, and I'm not going to break it. He's going to kill me, and it's going to happen, and I'm just going to leave and start game 3.
Yeah, much better to just go into that, because especially if he doesn't end up winning game number 3, he still has to play a lot tonight, right?
Yes.
Like, he has to wait
he has more games
for another match to happen and then get into his final match. So no reason to use up his energy at this moment. One thing I do want to mention is that is basically the exact same play out of Maru twice. he made a small adjustment of getting the missile turrets a little bit quicker there because he knew about the second Banshee. Because ByuN did the same thing kind of twice, right? So now they felt each other out. They have a lot of information on how the other guy wants to play the matchup.
Yes, we saw ByuN pretty much do the same thing as game one, except he tried to go for a bit of a doom drop there. It looked like he wanted to load everything up, maybe drop into the main. And with those siege tanks, like, sure, you can't pick them up once they're sieged anymore, but when they're sieged in your main, that's a bad time for you.
Yeah, try to break that.
Yeah,
it's
good
not
luck
going
with
to go
that.
so well.
Yeah, without stim or anything like that. Yeah, good luck. But getting caught with these pants down there by Maru's army, who just happened to be at the right place at the right time, and just having so many Vikings and Ravens, well, a Raven, it's going to be tough to ever come ahead against that. So.
Okay, well, it looks like game number 3 is loading up.
And it's on Varney as well. Let's get into it, guys. In the bottom spawn here, the world champion, this is ByuN. Looking to get himself an Intel Extreme Masters Championship. Be his first. And the north here, also would be his first championship if he won this one. This would be Maru.
Yeah, that's true. Maru has been in the finals, but
yeah, he made the final actually of Intel Extreme Masters Taipei, and that was one of the greatest finals I remember in StarCraft 2. Went all the way to Game 7.
Yeah, that was a really nice one indeed. But yeah, I mean, this is obviously a big tournament for them beyond just becoming IEM champions to start off the year in a big WCS finals point league.
The first WCS Korea event.
Yeah.
For 2017.
Starting things early. By the way, a little bit of a change here from ByuN, getting his gas after his barracks, so just a bit off from what he was doing before. Maybe not going to tech quite as heavily.
Oh, he's going to be one of these guys.
Yeah,
now, when you play TvT, you will eventually hit this guy on ladder. And this is the guy that...
well, out of all the guys, this is the guy's guy. This is the guy the other guys want to be because he is the greatest Reaper microer in the world.
That's right.
Not even the great Euthermal is as great with Reapers as is ByuN.
Which is a big call, by the way. Like, ByuN, I mean, Euthermal won't disagree with you, put it that way. He's a realist, deep down. And ByuN, with the Reaper in hand, is a surgeon. It's actually very, very disgusting how good he can be with this unit.
Yeah.
And, when you hit that guy on ladder, when I'm talking about that guy, the guy that goes Reapers in TvT in the early game, makes him down to 2 backs, sometimes 3. That guy's not ByuN. You don't hit ByuN on ladder. So this is
no. If you're watching this, you don't hit ByuN on ladder because you're actually playing in the tournament right now.
Exactly. If you hit ByuN on ladder, you're already here in groups.
Yeah. By the way, I do want to mention something. Back when Turax Reaper was kind of popular in TvT, TY, I felt like, was the innovator on how to shut it down, and that was by making a second Reaper. He would always make the second Reaper and then go into a Hellion. This is a little bit different, but every game Maru has shown 2 Reapers, right? I guess he's lost the first one every game as well.
Yeah, this one's in a little bit of danger here. The terrain actually helping him out a bit there. So we'll get away, but he does have that second Reaper on the way and a Cyclone as well. And the Cyclone's new attack speed, like old Cyclone, maybe not, but the new Cyclone can absolutely engage a few Reapers.
Yeah, like if he just sits here defensively, he's going to hold this easily.
Absolutely, and he's looking real good so far. Oh, there's grenades from ByuN, though. Oh,
crazy. But you know what? He's traded a Reaper for a Reaper, and he's slowing this attack down. No real damage done to Maru yet. And
no,
in fact,
ByuN's actually
chasing this.
And ByuN's actually transitioning already, making Marines back at home, getting his factory up, and an extra CC. And Maru's gearing up for his 1-1-1.
Well, he's going right into a Hellion, right? And that's going to build a little bit quicker and do a good job against these Reapers. So
absolutely.
This is already basically held. This really didn't do very much for him.
Oop. Even with 6 range.
Sees the cloak.
Yeah, that's actually a very good scout to be able to see that. He will need to save up a scan because, there's no engineering bay going to be ready in time here. So we'll need to keep an eye on that. And Maru is gearing up for the next stage, so that Banshee attack is coming, and there's that engineering bay on the way for ByuN.
Yeah,
when a turret's done in time, I think it might be done in time, actually.
I think he'll basically have it before Cloak is done. Yeah, it looks like it to me. But I do want to question ByuN doing that strategy. I feel like maybe he went too deep on the mind games, where he's like, okay, Maru will do something else. Maybe he'll take a faster expansion because it's Vonnie. And it's pretty easily defendable, right? Like, if there's going to be a map where you take a fast expansion on, it'll be this map. But every game, he's made a lot of early units, and holding that 2-Rax Reaper so significantly, there's a huge tech advantage right now for Maru.
There is. And in fact, those turrets are going to finish just as Cloak finishes. I didn't even think they would be done in time, but this is obviously pretty good for ByuN. Unfortunately, they are out of range here on the top here, and the Banshee there of Maru gets a Mule, which is a great pickoff. And it's coming in to get a little bit more done. This is an expensive unit, guys, and he invested in Cloak as well, so he needs to get a little bit more done here.
Yeah, he gets a Mule halfway done and picking off some Marines and SCVs at this point. The Viking coming around, but you can run away from a single Viking.
Yeah, he doesn't have a scan on the main here. I'm not sure about the natural. He does have a scan on the natural.
Yeah, still though, like the micro here of Maru is not going to allow that Banshee to die to one Viking.
Yeah,
you're going to need 2 or 3 to
right.
finish off.
Exactly. You need 2 to guarantee, I think, and well, I mean, you need 2 to have a chance and 3 to
guarantee and 1 scan.
Yeah. And a second Banshee being made here by Maru, harassing that mineral line on the right here, and the SCV kills are starting to get up there. And this is actually looking very effective for Maru so far. Stim not just done for ByuN, 5 more seconds away.
This is looking so good for Maru right now. And the fact that ByuN has opened with double barracks and made a lot of Marines off of it and then lost a lot of Marines to this Banshee, that's almost as good. It's not as good as killing SCVs, but it's quite good because that's really going to hinder any aggression he wants to do.
And Maru's in such a lovely spot. He's got his 3rd CC on the way. He's got his Raven out already. Everything he needs to be safe in this game is out for him while he expands. So he's in a lovely position here. And ByuN still scrambling to defend against these Banshees. Looks like one finally will go down if it gets into range of these Marines, but it doesn't.
Oh, hilarious.
Oh, my God. A second scan burn here to get that Banshee. I mean, it's frustrating when you have to do it, but you have to do it, man. Those Banshees have already done a lot of damage to ByuN.
Okay, here's a question for you as a Terran player.
Go for it. Hit me.
What is more frustrating? Losing the Mule to the Banshee or having to use the scan for the one more Viking hit?
That's I don't even think about it. The scan is
okay.
The scan is.
I figured that, but I didn't want to overstep my bounds. I don't really play very much.
You're allowed to ask. I'll always answer any question you give me.
Okay.
Even if live on broadcast or backstage.
Okay, who's handsomer, Tasteless or Artosis?
Let's say you, because Tasteless is probably sleeping right now.
All right, double eBay coming up right now for Maru. Gonna get those upgrades going right away. Maybe slightly behind from ByuN. I believe he already has his +1. Yeah, he already has his +1. Has +1 armor on the way as well. Yeah. Trying to move out to get something done, but again, this is dangerous. How do you do this?
Yeah, this is really dangerous actually from ByuN. If there's even a couple siege tanks, he's going to be shut down completely here. As it stands, just one in the main here for Maru, and ByuN sort of just breaks a Marine off of the bowl there to just keep an eye on when that third's taken. But Maru getting double upgrades back at home means he's going to catch up very nicely with those upgrades. Only just the 1 NG bay for ByuN at this stage.
Slowing down that 3rd base a bit. Of course, Maru's had his 3rd command center for quite some time, but he's got to play a little bit defensively. He doesn't have stim yet. He doesn't have a lot of units because he has so many tech units.
Yeah.
So you do have to play it a little bit slower. What you can do, though, is just be a bit more cost efficient because of these units. He's always going to have the vision on siege tanks because of his air army, and as long as he doesn't overstep his bounds, it's going to be hard for ByuN to find damage with this many Marines. Yeah,
I mean, ByuN's army supply is a lot larger than Maru's. Like, 20 is a lot at this stage of the game, but it is primarily Marines, which don't trade extremely well against well-set-up siege tanks.
This might be a little bit too aggressive, it feels like to me, Maynard. Like,
from ByuN.
From Maru, the move out here, I'm like, if he spreads, can he actually do it? Can he break this?
Oh, we'll see. Marines coming down here from Maru.
The turret's really helping out.
Yeah, I mean, auto turrets are a lot better now. We got a Liberator from ByuN coming in here, but parking directly above a turret means it won't even get a shot off.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, that would have been a really great move had it been able to kill some SCVs, but you know, that's what happens when you shift-click it in.
Yeah.
Set it and forget it. Well, you forgot it.
Yeah, and he paid the ultimate price, man. It's an expensive unit, and it's gone now. It's the story of that Liberator. We got the armories going down for both players now to get those upgrades. +2 started a lot earlier for Maru, and Combat Shield as well. So Maru's... we got double ups from both players, actually, so it's very, very, very close. Combat Shield a lot later for Maru, but he hasn't needed it because the Marines for him just haven't been up in there in number. It's all about the Siege Tank count and the Raven and the Vikings.
Well, look at Maru start to kind of catch up macro-wise. He's really got a lot of barracks. He's done his macro explosion quite well. In fact, adding the second factory here quite quickly compared to the last game. So, or the
first game.
The first game, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm really again enjoying Maru's position more than ByuN's here. Like ByuN definitely has that map control, but he's been completely impotent. He hasn't been able to really get any damage anywhere.
Yeah, he's been shut down at pretty much every turn here. He hasn't really been in the main of Maru since his Reapers walked in there. Oh, this one Siege Tank being caught out of position here and killed by Maru. I'm sort of scratching my head here as to...
That was a scouting Siege Tank, Maynard.
Yeah, it's, I mean, what other unit would you want to scout with than an unsieged Siege Tank?
Yeah. That's a good one. If an SCV comes out, at least you win that, right? Like,
yeah. He probably would. Oh, this is so dangerous for ByuN. 3 fully loaded medevacs. Those are Marines with stim, with 3 medevacs, and this is a very, very, very dangerous run by here. This third is in a spot of bother if there are no siege tanks here. It doesn't look like there are. Maybe on the right here.
Oh man, the Marines stim here for ByuN, but
he's
in
actually
trouble.
Maybe dead here if he right-clicks on that. No, it looks like he's going to actually engage the army. He wants that siege tank, and hot pick up there by ByuN, but he's still in some of his production, and that CC in general is in a lot of trouble. ByuN coming in for a stim in the back, does get a full medevac there. Could possibly get the other one, but he actually shoos Maru away, only losing 5 SCVs there, which is amazing to me.
Yeah, seriously, he dealt with that pretty well. He did lose a lot of Marines, but a little bit of a mess up on the micro there by Maru. He lost a medevac there. Like it looked like a misclick back towards the army, but that being said, he is moving out on the map now with his siege tanks and Marine force.
Yeah, and the one Marine there of ByuN did see this force. Unfortunately, Scan missing the majority of Maru's army. Didn't get to see the gravity of it all, like how big this army actually is for Maru, which is substantial, by the way. He has 1 full medevac still, which could be potentially very annoying if ByuN's paying him too much attention to the scuffle. An early siege on 1 single siege tank here. He's coming up atop, trying to snipe 1 siege tank to start this battle off. Looks like he will get it and pull back.
All right, the medevac actually gets out and meets up with everyone else, so he will be able to reinforce his army slightly. Still controls that air advantage, but that is a huge stim run-up right now by ByuN.
This huge ball of Marines on the top here. Very, very dangerous for Maru. If he gets caught with his pants down here, it is very, very potentially going to happen. The Marines going straight for the jugular of Maru's 4th. Maru coming in here for an attack, but the spread of siege tanks from ByuN doing a great job against the Marines.
Great defensive posture right now for ByuN, and he cancels that 4th base of Maru very much like Game 1 once again. He's playing defense and countering Maru as Maru brings all of his units to bear on him.
A couple of the reinforcement units, including a siege tank, killed by the siege line of ByuN here to reinforce this attack from Maru. And Maru is starting to get some damage done, supply blocking ByuN here. But ByuN has 30 more Marines coming from the north, Artosis. He's hitting from the north, he's hitting from the south. Kalaris would be so proud, and Maru is getting completely crushed.
Wow, hitting from the north and the south? That was crazy. And
that's what they call a flank, ladies and gentlemen. That went very, very well for ByuN, and that's actually how the Game 1 ended. Was a great flank by ByuN. Both players sitting on 3 CCs. Looks like a 4th going to be taken at the gold here by ByuN.
Yeah, looks like he does want to go over there for his next base, but Maru in some trouble now. He's kept his supply up pretty well, is making more command centers, floating out his main as well, but it feels like ByuN overall, he holds a defensive position until Maru gets a little bit over-aggressive and then snaps up and kills his army. We keep seeing this in games like this.
And ByuN being very aggressive here. He's pressing the issue. A couple more Marines. He always leads with 3 or 4 Marines just to try and see what he can get done against these siege tanks, taking a 4th behind this. And Maru's floating a 4th over as well. Not to the gold, but to the more easier to defend position.
Right, kind of in the middle of the map right now. Command center's flying all over the place. Gold base going to be taken. Here. Yeah, he's expanding all over the place. And like this could stabilize. They both have really high supplies. Yeah, ByuN has a slight supply advantage, but when you have this many siege tanks and this much vision on the map, it's really hard to break through.
It is still a very even game, in my opinion. I agree with you there. If Maru gets that 5th CC up and it doesn't get punished for it, he's going to be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, indeed.
I mean, that is the main CC, I believe, being floated over.
Oh, nice siege up by Maru. Does get the first volley. Has those Vikings spotting as well.
So the siege tank advantage is double for Maru. 12 to the 6 of ByuN. He just got a 7th out then.
This is a really big deal right now.
Yeah, very, very big deal.
If Maru takes down ByuN, we have to start like reconsidering where Maru's position truly is in TvT. He hasn't put up as much lately against these TvT gods, but he is like right there on the edge.
these Liberators are going to force ByuN to unsiege here. He actually cannot stay put. He's going to lose a lot. Maru looks like he is aware of this big drop from ByuN. He's going to take 1 or 2 turrets worth of damage, but 3 of the Medivacs will still unload completely here with Stim upgraded Marines, with +2. Actually, +3 just finished. And there is going to be a lot of production in trouble here. In fact, the upgrades could be denied, and they are denied. +3 armor removed there for Maru.
Just seconds before it finishes well. Absolutely brutal. But now Maru still has to clean that up. He has to make a ton of more supply depots. This is really frustrating for him to have to deal with.
He lost the armory as well, Artosis.
Oh,
denying +2 attack for his army there. But speaking of armies, ByuN's did take a big volley there. Maru taking the supply lead for army supply, and ByuN coming in with a lot of Marines on the right, taking a lot of siege tank damage. These tanks on the left are so dangerous for ByuN. He has to be very careful if he wants to engage Maru here. In fact, I don't think he should engage him at all.
Yeah, he actually wasted a lot of units trying to break through there. I think when he saw how many units went back to clear out his drop, he was like, you know what, maybe I can break the siege line, but not even close. Maru has so many siege tanks
ByuN,
still.
please, no. This is going to be so dangerous if he steams any close to that. There's a big leapfrog of siege tanks there. He's taking some free damage from these Stim Marines of Maru as they come forward, but ByuN is retreating completely here. He could actually lose his whole army if he's not too careful.
He is being chased all the way back. Oh, a double siege tank and medevac pickoff right there.
Huge pickoff. Very huge pickoff. He's already in a dire straits when it comes to siege tank count. Unloading here and taking a more defensive posture, but Maru looks like he might have enough here to crack this defensive line of ByuN.
All right, coming up, trying to get a kill move on right now. Maru has a really superior army as far as his tank count still.
Yeah.
Similar amounts of Marines, only 1 upgrade down, of course, because of that E-base snipe, but really with this many siege tanks, that's what makes a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather have this many more siege tanks than a 1 upgrade higher Marine. Oh, this concave of Maru is actually crushing the front line of ByuN here. He lost a medevac again, and these siege tanks are really just unadulterated here. He's got 12 to the 5 of ByuN now.
Oh man, Maru just tightening the noose at the moment. The gold base is still running for both players, so they can still refill their armies super fast. And ByuN can actually stem forward as this unsiege occurs, picking off as many as he can.
Actually evening things up a little bit there for ByuN. He got 3 siege tanks, I believe, there, and pulled back. Some Marine harassment here from ByuN not being affected. The planetary cleaning it up very nicely there. Armory's being remade here on the low ground towards that 3rd position. And he's getting his upgrades for his mech army. And that means Maru's siege tanks going to be higher in number. They're going to be higher in value with those upgrades. And this CC is in big trouble. And this is ByuN's lifeline here.
Yeah, he's taking out all those SCVs, blows it up as soon as he sieges his tanks, and that means that ByuN has almost nothing left. Just mining at his 3rd base at this point. He's moving across the map. He has to make one final desperate move, but with how much Maru has, I can't imagine this winning.
I can't see a way for ByuN to win either, but he's going to try and make it happen. He's coming out the left-hand side here. Maru knows exactly where ByuN's army is. He knows how much is in it, and he knows that that's all he has left.
Well,
ByuN getting a CC there. He can have a lovely siege position here if he wants to, and he does siege up. Maru has a big concave of Marines, though, and they come all the way crashing in. The siege tanks of ByuN are gone, and the Marines of ByuN are about to die as well. And surely that is it for ByuN in this game. He is down. He is half the army supply at this point. He's down in workers, he's down in every single way, and Maru is showing a TvT masterclass against the world champion here.
He is. This is a fantastic game, a fantastic series out of Maru to be taking down ByuN. You know, they couldn't have been more opposite this year, despite both being top-level Terrans. ByuN winning the whole World Championships, Maru unable to do anything in individual leagues, not even able to go to BlizzCon, but showing that maybe that was a mistake. This guy deserved it.
Oh, speaking of mistakes, 3 siege tanks being picked off there from Maru, but I mean, ByuN's going to need to do a lot more than that if he wants a chance in hell at winning this game. He is very far behind in army supply. In fact, pulling the SCVs as well for a last-ditch effort, but Maru just with way too much, crushing ByuN's front lines here. And that is all that remains for the world champion. If there was any doubt that Maru is back in form, this series has surely shown you the light.
Yeah.
GG.
Those mistakes have been cleared up, and you can see Maru very happy with his victory. Goes 4-1 to smash out of his group. 2-0ing Solar and 2-1ing ByuN. Wow, really well done. ByuN a little bit surprised, probably a little bit frustrated with that loss. He knows that he's going to have to face a really strong Zerg to get out of this
My
group
head's
still.
spinning, and I wasn't even in that game. That was so good. What a sick play from Maru there. Incredible series from both players, really. It was the TvT that I wanted. It happened, and I'm so happy as a fan and also as a commentator of this game that TvT ended up being as spectacular as it was. I'm sorry, I'm like hand gesturing, and I'm meant to hold this thing close to my face. I'm like, whoa! No, but I mean, the TvT really delivered here, and I believe that was the winner's match.
That was the winner's match.
That ByuN is not gone, guys. All of you ByuN fans back at home, do not fret. He has another shot at it. He's going to be in the loser's match a little bit later, but Maru is going through to the round of 8.
All right, guys, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, our next match.